A good photographer will also be a good director. Bad headshot, something that we knew wasn't strong and wasn't working, had no movement whatsoever.
Today we are here with Thomas Philipp from Dry Blue Agency, London.
In the UK, in our American office, to only go with the proper headshot. If you are on a train and a really important self-tape comes in and we have no time, you have to tape on the train, and we'll find a way of making that work. And you need to be at the top of your game all the time.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the PIC852 Photography channel. I am your host, Angelica Novak, and for this fantastic episode today we are here with Thomas Philipp from Dry Blue Agency, London. They have an office here in USA, in Italy and in France, so it's pretty exciting. Today we're going to explore topics like headshots, the importance of headshots, new trends and self-tape. I know that you are pretty busy, so thank you again to be with us today, Thomas. Truly appreciate. And let's begin. I'm so excited. You have no idea. This is my first interview. So
thank you. And I'm thank you for asking me. And very, very, very happy to do this with you.
I'm really happy that you find time to participate in this project. So let's go ahead with our first question.
Yes.
So Thomas, from your point of view as a talent agent, how crucial are the headshots for actors looking to make an impact?
They are probably, to start with, the most important tool that they can provide us with. We had instances where an actor with bad headshots, something that we knew wasn't strong and wasn't working, had no movement whatsoever. Once they finally listened and followed our guidelines and got the headshots that we asked, things changed overnight. Castings were coming in, self-tapes were coming in, they started booking jobs. So especially for an actor that is just about to embark into this journey, proper, professional, sharp headshots are pivotal.
How actors should go when they select a headshots photographer? We have tons of headshots photography around, and they're pretty good, a lot of them, but have following different styles.
Sure.
In headshots. So how do you think they have to relate? Because it's very personal choice, like an agent, it's a personal choice, something they click. How do you think they should go with to find their own position?
A good photographer will also be a good director. So, and in that, a good photographer will be able to find what makes that person special. Some actors, and this is, as I was mentioning to you, I'm a third generation photographer myself, and so I can be very picky on stuff, but I also have, I spent most of my years at university specializing on photogenesis and telegenesis. So there's some individuals that have a very, very, very natural photogenic aspect to them. They have a very good bone structure. That doesn't mean, a lot of people confuse good looks that make you that will break into the business to what the actual cinematic look is. And it's very, very specific. Some actors, some talents just have that very, very naturally. So even if the photographer is mediocre, the selling of the headshot still works. A good headshot photographer will see what makes that person really special and bring it up a notch. So an actor should really look when choosing who to go with, it's very difficult for an actor to decide who to go with, because you need to experience, you need to go through it, and you need to be guided, and that's what we do. But as you know, if someone doesn't have that guidance, doesn't have that help, it's just finding a photographer that in its portfolio manages with each and every individual to make that person really special. Someone that can shoot outdoors, natural light, but is also excellent indoors. I'm not going to name names. There are some photographers out there that is more of a machine, like, you go in 40 minutes and you're out, plain backdrop. Those don't work. There needs to be someone that has an instinct. It's a talent. It's a talent to find what makes that individual special and grabbing that aspect, that cinematic aspect of the actor, but make them look like they look. Because we have a lot of problems when an actor looks glorious on a headshot and then in real life looks a bit different. We need to make sure that they match. So the headshot has to be you at your best hair day, your best skin day, radiating energy, and just being one with the lenses. Some photographers are really good at that, and those are ones that maybe a little bit more seasoned or just have a natural talent for it. So we always say, don't go with the cheap guys. Don't go with if they're cheap. There's a reason. It's short sessions. They don't investigate your look. They don't get to study. I like photographers that get to chat with the actor for 15 minutes, because what the photographer is doing is it's absorbing that person, looking at what angles, what side of that person is special, what works and what doesn't. Some actors have profiles that work, like a right profile is just far more cinematic than the left profile. That's just the way it is. And that is just bone structure. So a good photographer will have to find those moments.
So what's worked? Yeah. I mean, I believe that the vibration is what make it catchy. It's not about how beautiful you are or not, because it's not about beauty, it's about the vibration. That's, I think, that what looking for, because that's
100%. The good looks are just looks. You need to have, when people say, you need to have a cinematic look, it's not good looks. Good looks, you can turn around the corner, have good looks. It's just something that shines through. It's that glint in your eyes. And some people just have it, as I said, very naturally. It's just a charisma that shines across, a confidence in front of the camera. Others might have to work on it a bit. And that's when you also need an extremely skilled headshot photographer to understand where that confidence comes and grab it in one still.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And so many times I've been reading comment you see in Facebook, social media, and with the people posting their headshots, which are beautiful headshots, but you can see they're over retouched, for instance, or super polished. And me, that I'm quite picky, I can see that fakeness, that beautiful, stunning, but that's not an actor. It's modeling for me, it's something else. But I see comment people say, "Oh, that's fantastic. That's a great headshot." No, this is not. But if you put on the comment and you put the two pictures comparing between before and after, because I did this test, I just really was so curiously, desperately know what people think. I say, "Oh, I prefer the more natural one than the retouched one." Yeah, because I put the comparison. But if I wouldn't put the comparison, which I did another time, you will choose the one super retouched. So how does it possible they didn't even notice that? And then I think that would just lead them to probably do also the wrong choice. What do you think about this over retouching?
I cannot agree more with what you said. The over retouching, and it's something that happens a lot in the States, and that's their starting point. It just does not work because it's fake, and industry people want to see naturalism. They want to see what you look like. How does the camera grab you? And when it's over retouched, you're hiding something, and it's one thing if maybe in a circumstance or something, you want to lift the midtones a little bit, maybe lower the highlights, or if you want to play a bit with the contrast, that's one thing. But when you start retouching the skin and cleaning the eyes and making it, just falls flat, because what you're doing, you're just flattening someone's look and someone's energy. I mean, if someone's having a really bad skin day, okay, but there has to be, just if there's something that is distracting, maybe you have a strand of hair that very second decided to, and when remove that, that's fine. If you have maybe a smudge or something, if you're wearing a little bit of makeup, especially for women, and there's a little bit of a smudge that you didn't notice, you want to clean that up for sure, because then that is distracting. But over retouching becomes distracting as well. So, and you can tell it's not modeling, it's not a lifestyle shoot. A headshot needs to grab the actor in their best day, but it still has to be them. It has to be the person. It doesn't have to be retouched. We want to make sure that what we see on the headshot matches you at casting. Obviously, the headshot is a bit more controlled. Your image is shining through some expensive material and all of that, but and the same goes with with the choice of clothing. People that, when you have actors that decide to wear stripy clothing or really bright clothing, it just detracts attention from your eyes. So you'll say wear neutral colors, have a bit of a change, of course, so we get a slightly different idea of you, what it is to be, maybe a bit more casual wear, a bit more elegant wear, but it has to be neutral, so that the focus is always on your eyes.
Thank you. And what do you think about this new trend? I've been reading quite controversial opinion regarding new headshot style with involve more part of the body, sometimes even some visible jewelry with super colorful background. Don't get me wrong, headshots is a portrait, but that when you involve the rest of the body is no more head and shoulders, so no more headshots. It's a portrait, which is fantastic, but it's still, do you think, work? Or maybe it's work if you mix between the headshots, between your spotlight pictures?
No. So when you start pulling away from the head and shoulders shot, so you have more of a American shot or full body shot, something that's a bit more jazzy, as you said, with jewelry, or just looking away from the camera. And some countries like Germany, for instance, and Italy will have that repertoire of looks in an actor's portfolio. Each and every country have a different feel, but ultimately a casting director, I feel, and also productions and directors, will always lean towards the head and shoulders, your face. Everything else, they will, if there is something else to look at, if they might be interested in you based on your headshot, and they say, okay, how does this person look as a full body? And if they have that choice, if they have that, they might go through those headshots as well. We find it in the office that so what we do is we control Spotlight's profiles. So, and we tailor it to each and every talent that we have on Spotlight. So what we do, for those that get new headshots, they get them to send to us. We choose which headshots will work or which doesn't. And then we upload them to Spotlight, recropping where needs be. But we only go with head and shoulders. And we usually go between 3 and 5 photographs. A natural face, a bit more of a serious look, a smile, and a big smile. But it always has to be you. For those that have different type of something that's a bit more jazzy, I don't like them because it's not an actor's tool. But I understand that maybe for commercials or maybe for something else, a casting director might want to see something else. In those instances, we often have, casting directors getting back, they're interested in someone, but they would like to have a full body headshot, a full body shot. So either we have them in our files from a photo shoot they did and we send that, or we just get them to send us a full body shot from home on a plain background. We tend in the UK and in our American office to only go with the proper headshot. Sometimes, depending on the individual, we even push for a close-up, like a proper close-up. So like,
really like so.
Yeah, each and every individual is different. Each talent has a different energy. As I said, some just carry it, just shine through. There's nothing. They're just, even those that go with those headshot studios that we don't like, even if they go with them before they join us, and they say, you can still, this person works, this look just works, just because nature's been very kind, and whatever they have, just and how they respond to the camera is just it just comes very easy. That's why we also always push for, you need to go up a notch. If you're already hitting high marks with very cheap headshots, imagine what we could do when you have top shelf headshots. Yeah.
So it's when you have like some just like hands, for instance, on their shots visible, under the face or.
Yeah, no, it's very distracting. I don't like them at all. It's we want to see your hands, anything that is detracting from your eyes and from your expression. It's a big no-no, because in this business, there's in the UK alone, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of new actors every year. Yes, a lot drop out because they find the industry to be too competitive, and some just find it really hard to cope with. But by and large, the number of actors, especially nowadays with the fame craving and the new Insta fame people, whatever, all of that. Casting directors and productions, and especially on open calls, they will receive thousands and thousands and thousands of images. And if in your headshot, which is possibly your one single shot at that job, at progressing in on a certain project, we want to make sure that people look you in the eyes, look at your expression and get an instant feel for you. If you start having colored fingernails or a lot of rings on a lot of jewelry, earrings, in that split second, you're just detracting attention away from you. So it needs to be you. It needs to be you at your very best with no distractions. It's all about making sure that we manage to connect that talent with casting directors. If there's anything in between, it's difficult.
And out of curiosity, so I found out having this type of questions been asked. There are some actors that believes that if they want to be casting for a specific role, because I want to be this type of actor, for instance, I want to go just for comedy, and I want to do any type of drama, etc. So in my headshots, I want just to pick up that type of vibe. I don't want other vibes coming out. Do you think he needs something else to show just in case, or just go for what they push in the direction of?
So yeah, that is usually an actor's mistake. Or when an actor might have or feel like they have a strength in a certain kind of performance, whether it's comedy, whether it's drama, and that's absolutely 100% fine. But that's their view. What industry professionals or the people working for the actor might also see something different, or in addition to what the actor's strengths really are. So if someone is naturally funny, is able to communicate comedy, even in one smile or in one big smile, they will be able to communicate that. If you feel like you need more, like you want to use your hands or a bit more body language, I feel like it's less is more. So if you can convey what you want to convey, which is you're a comedy performer or a dramatic performer, or whatever you're drawn to, you need to be able to show that in one frame, one headshot. Give me that glint in your eyes that you can be funny, And it's obviously it's a very, very easy example just because we know him so well. But you could have one headshot of Robin Williams with his big smile, and you know he's a comedy actor. He doesn't need to do anything else. He doesn't need to have a funny pose, nothing. It's just that one shot. So that's what we always tell actors. So if you feel like you're a comedy actor, fine. I mean, we will still obviously represent them and pitch them for other stuff. But if you feel like your natural bone is a comedy bone, you need to give me that in one frame. Show me that.
Okay.
Make me believe that I can laugh with you, or laugh for what you're doing, or just make me smile. Then there's just, you don't need to act on a headshot. Be you and show me that you can be funny with one shot.
Thank you. Now changing topic. Another things like I want to explore is about the self-tape.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact like how much is important to have a good reader for your audition that can enhance. I mean, do you believe that can enhance, like, find an actor, for instance, that can help you for your audition rather than your flatmate or, your mom, your dad, or whatsoever, can help an actor to get a good audition?
Yeah, that is a tough one. Obviously, the more quality you surround with, the better you'll shine. And that's because if you might be doing a great performance on a self-tape, but if your reader is bad, that will take away from you. So, and the casting director will just be distracted, or whoever's watching the self-tape, it's just a bit distracted, just taking away. Obviously, casting directors will watch thousands of tapes every week. So there will be an understanding that sometimes an actor can't have an equally good performer behind the camera. So, and we sometimes highlight that, just make sure that that the talent didn't have someone as good being the reader. We always suggest finding someone that can carry them, as can help them out, and someone that can either be a really good reader, because you can be a really good reader but a really bad actor. So and vice versa. But someone that understands the script, understands the rhythm that you need to have. Because don't forget, if then the reader is way too good, is far better than you, it's killing you. So you want to make sure that you are the star of your self-tape. So obviously, if you're bouncing off someone that is really good and your character shines through, you're on a winning path. If your reader is a bit of a flat zone and you need to bounce off of that, very skillful actors will still make it happen. But there will always be that subtle distraction from the flat reader, But listen, we had actors, lots of actors will audition with a reader that isn't in the room. Someone is on Zoom, or that's on a WhatsApp video call, and there will be technical issues. Sometimes, one gives the line and then there's a couple of seconds of nothing.
Okay.
But, when we train our actors, when we workshop with them, we say, if for whatever reason you have bad connection because the reader isn't with you and there's a lag, use it. Stay in character. Find something to do. So, you fill that space. It will shine across. If you're constantly in character and we constantly see the scene that you're playing, it will just show how talented someone is and professional, and the understanding of the scene, the understanding of the situation, regardless of technical issues. So long story short, having a great reader, super important. If you don't have a great reader, you need to find ways to be the star of your self-tape with what you have. So it's not easy. It's really, really not easy.
I mean, like when you said that just now, make me think about Vittorio Gassman. He used to say that like when you have an accident on stage is a blessing. It's the best things can happen to you because then you have your real moment to shine.
Yes.
If you, of course, if you take that one as a leap, if you take that one as like you're someone throwing to you the ball, you take that one to take that ball and get in the basket. It's a great moment for an actor when it's happening. And so, I'm agreeing. It means that you are really in the character, really in the moment.
Yeah. And exactly. Because you never know. As again, on a self-tape, you might have a technical issue, but you might just find that if you keep riding that wave, you just find out something else. You just find a different rhythm that you didn't think of. We have actors, so we don't, because we have a policy of not passing on tapes. So we have actors taping in the middle of the night, and sometimes an actor might be tired, and I'm like, well, see if the character is tired, because you might have not thought of the character in that situation. So use what you have and incorporate it in your performance. Make it real, make it natural, and use what you have. It's tough, it's easier said than done, especially with the very, very tight turnarounds that we have nowadays. But yeah, I think an actor has to use the elements that has in that given time to be the star of the tape.
That's good. Thank you so much for your insight. That was really, really good, and I think very clarifying for some confusion idea that I've been reading around. Yeah, it pushed me with this, start doing interview, because I think it's important that fellow actors knows what they need to looking for to shine and to put themselves competitive in the business.
Exactly.
If you don't know how to choose your tools or how you use your tools, it can be a bit tricky.
100%. Yeah, you need to have that confidence. It also comes a bit with time. I always hope someone has someone to guide them. We always press onto our actors that how to have good lighting, a good setup for self-tape, because if they don't, someone else has, and inevitably that person might have an advantage. Having said that, if you are on a train and a really important self-tape comes in and we have no time, you have to tape on the train, and we'll find a way of making that work. And we have that on a daily basis. So again, of course, it's not ideal, but it always goes back to use what you have. We had an actor self-taping from the middle of the woods. They were on holiday, and they just made it work somehow. Yes, it was handheld. It wasn't obviously playing backdrop and all of that, but they just made it work, and it was beautiful to watch.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, Thomas. And so, yeah, we finish our interview here. Thank you so much.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Also because it's running out of time of Zoom.
Oh, yes, of course. We've got the 40-minute thing.
Yeah. So thank you again for being
here. Thank you, Angie. It was great. Great seeing you again. Thank you so much for having me on. And it was I really love this. Thank you so much. I think it's really great what you're doing, because it kind of, I'm sure it will help, especially younger actors that are getting into the whole headshot and self-tape reality, and the more information they have to help them do to achieve something good that is professional, the better. Because yes, as you said, there's so much information out there, it's very confusing. And then the reality of it is you need to be at the top of your game all the time.
It was really a pleasure to, it's been so long. So
I know, no, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
If you enjoyed this podcast and you want to see more, please don't forget to subscribe.